In this clip, we'll create a grenade using ZModeler. I'm going to start the project off with a sphere here. I'm going to use the modifiers to append a sphere 3D primitive. Next, I'm just going to lower my spans to 9 on one side and 7 in the other. Next, move along. I'm just going to stretch things out a bit using the scale handles. Using my selection tools to hide the caps. And now ZModeler, I'm going to use insert loops to delete loops holding the Alt key. Next, I'm going to use masking to unmask the top portion and just use my Gizmo 3D to manipulate these points, which is one of the great features of ZModeler, is your ability to use your normal sculpting tips, tricks, and methods to edit points on top of use with ZModeler itself. Now I got the top whitened out. I'm going to go to slide and I'm going to select complete loops. I'm just repositioning these to get them more square-like. Move on now to inset. I'm going to set the inset target to all polys, and then I'm also going to select inset each poly for the modifiers. Now we've insetted every poly that's visible. I'm selecting extrude and polygroup all, and I extruded every polygroup with the same color. Next, I'm going to add a bit of a taper to these extruded squares here. So I'm going to the scale action, and next I'm going to go ahead and select the polygroup all and polygon center and just scale those. And that's pretty much the body of our grenade here so far. Next, we're going to work on the neck of the grenade here, starting from the top. I use insert loop to insert a loop up top, and now I'm unmasking and polygrouping it. Next, I'm going to center my Gizmo 3D and use one of my favorite features, which is control, click, and drag to perform manual extrusions. This is a fast and alternative method to using the ZModeler extrusion. Next, I'm going to drag out a mask to polygroup that top selection of polygons here. A bit of a clip with my transpose selection tool to isolate these polygons and polygroup. An insert loop, and now unmask this polygroup, center my Gizmo 3D, and control, click, and drag to extrude that set of polys. Now we have that extruded. We're going to do the same on this set of polys just to create the kind of the top cap of our grenade here. I'm just pulling the bottom portion down a bit and just manipulating a few things, just trying to get a bit of a taper on front end. Okay, now that we got that all set, we'll go ahead and unmask this poly here and use my transpose to clip it. Next, we're going to move on and grab the slide action for the edges and slide this loop down. Instead, I'll just slide this set of edges down here using my masking. Next, I'm going to alt click and drag to paint a temp polygroup and extrude it outward. Let's see how things look from underneath here. I'm going to select insert, place a loop and another extrusion downward. And now from here, I'm going to extend this clip or handle using control, click, and drag to extrude the rest of it. Now I'm going to use insert loops to place some more loops along this span. And now with my Move Infinite brush, I'm just going to edit this curve. Alright, I like the way that's come out. Now with most of the grenade fleshed out now, I'm going to add a few more details. Just masked off everything, and I'm opening up the modifiers to append a ring 3D. Just going to rotate it 90 degrees and scale it upward, and just place this pin or ring safety pin, I believe it's called, into position. Okay. I think I don't need any of these cones, but to just thicken it up a bit. Alright, and I just control click and drag to duplicate. Another handy feature of the control click and drag combo. And now I'm just placing this into position and using the scale handles to widen it. I'm going to unmask this section here and just pull it backwards using my Gizmo 3D. Just going to zoom out and see how things are looking from here. Just going to navigate to the geometry tab and subdivide just to show what it looks like with subdivision. Now, grenade is in need of some support edges in order to maintain its shape in the hard areas. So just using insert loops, place them at the edges like so, and hit subdivide. You can see the difference. Okay, that wraps up the creation of our grenade. However, there are a few more tips and tricks about ZModeler I want to cover. After performing the action on your mesh, simply click to repeat the last action. This can speed up your workflow when modeling. ZModeler works with symmetry activated. Choose your axes of choice and model away on symmetrical meshes. Use temp polygroups to do even more. If needed, ZModeler will even work on partially hidden meshes. Model on flipped or reverse side of your mesh with ZModeler as well. The slice brush is the only way to cut through your mesh. When combined with ZModeler, you can quickly polygroup and place loops and edges interactively. Using ZModeler on subtools with high poly meshes will result in a drop in performance. To resolve this issue, simply split your low poly mesh into a separate subtool. Once done, all will work as normal. The topology brush is perfect for generating custom geometry for use with ZModeler. Use curves to lay out your polyflow, then click to create. Once done, you have polygons ready for interacting with ZModeler. Open your brush tab in Lightbox. Next, open the ZModeler folder and double click to select the ZModeler topology brush. This variant of the ZModeler brush has snapping enabled. Click and pull to extrude edges, snapping to visible subtools. Click and or hold the Alt key to extrude a row or ring of edges. Move points around and snap together by pressing the Shift key. It's likely the best way to retopple your models by hand in ZBrush. ZModeler is a very versatile and useful addition to hard surfacing tools within ZBrush. In the next clip, we will cover panel loops.